Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't find his way to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the Indigenous One. And as of every Friday night, I'm here with the Accomack clan mother, Miss Lisa Cypress, and we're going to bring up some stories that's been put out over the past week that we always play a big part in whatever illusion that's being spread. We're always want to be part of it. We always got to be pat on the head. So tonight we're going to share some things with you that really think about these things that are being said to you, because you can be put in a place where you don't want to be, put. So let me right now introduce the Accomack clan mother, Lisa Cypress. How you doing, Lisa?
Hello, Carrie. Thank you for having me. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing swell. Everything is cool. Uh,
Yes.
so I just want to thank you for joining us tonight and joining everybody in the chat. Thank everybody in the chat who's coming. Hey, thank you guys for being here.
I thought of a new title for you. You want to hear
Let it go.
it? I said, you are the founding father of indigenous critical thinking.
Aw, that's so sweet.
Isn't
And
that
I'm
right?
thirsty.
I think that's a very appropriate title.
I like it. I'm gonna
The
wear it.
founding father of indigenous critical thinking. You know,
And the reason for that, because I always seen, even though growing up, all these cats that said they were men either had conks or perms, or they had to ask another man, could they do something? And somehow that just never sat right with me, even when I was a kid, because I could see the frustration in the brother's face that they had to bow their head to somebody else. So that's what we got. Why is it like that? And every time I asked the question, I would just get pushed to the side. But we have Albertha Washington joining us. Don't you just love that name, Albertha?
oh, thank you for joining us.
You remember that song Bertha Butt Boogie?
I know the song.
You remember that song?
Yes, I have it on my playlist. What
That's
you
right.
talking about?
Bertha.
I
So
have it on my playlist.
yeah. So I was having a conversation with a young lady, and we were talking about music. And so she played a song, and I was like, and she was like, "Is this music?" And I was like, "No." She said, "Why?" I'm like, "Because there's no instruments.
Right.
Why even call it music if the main portion of it is taken out? There's no instruments played in what they're calling music today. There's no music. That's been for at least 30 years now. So
Yeah.
there's no music. So that's how come a lot of people are like this brother right who you see on the screen right.
We still have brothers that play music. We do actually do have some,
Oh,
but
oh,
then again, are we filling up this? Are we actually filling up the rooms? Like if you go to a jazz, performance, I mean, depending on where it is, you may not see us. You just may see a blue, especially at the blues, some blues performances. You won't see us in the audience. Whose fault is that?
oh, that's ours.
I mean, we abandon to the next thing because we got this attention deficit disorder that's genetic, I guess. And we abandon things so quick. We let go of rock and roll, we let go of the blues, we let go of jazz. On to the next thing. That's old. That's old.
Right.
Instead of understanding that we have created every classic that there is, and we need to embrace all the classics, including Beethoven, everything that we have done, we need to actually show some daggone respect to and have some appreciation for it. because those are our crafts. That's what we contributed. So, the fact that I don't like no rock and roll, you did that, dummy. You
Right.
did that. Okay. How you don't like it, really? you know, Try to exercise some music appreciation, expand your palette, your musical palette, because you have to understand that you are inside of all that music. And you got to understand and appreciate it because other people appreciate it and they take it over. And next thing you know, your children, grandchildren ain't gonna even know that it came from them because that's how things happen.
And you're in the lifespan now where you seeing this happen. So, some of the information we share with you, we just showing you how this happens and how we just go along with it. And that shit's over. We can't be rolling like that because you got your kids watching you. And you leaving this to them with all this stuff that's going on in the world. I would suggest you make it put it in a context for them to understand about how you play into it. But since what's going on, I want to share something with you, and this is how we play into it. This is what's going on in the Ukraine. So Lisa, could you lead us up on this clip? What's going on?
Oh, what are we looking at first?
This is the one where the Africans are trying to flee to Ukraine.
Oh, yes. All right, go ahead and play. Roll that videotape. It's gonna speak for itself.
We are not allowing any black people to enter inside this. We are all here. It's only Ukrainians that they are allowing in. Even the ones with kids, they're not allowing them in. Then these people left without taking the blacks. None of the blacks.
Nous donnons écho ici aux cris d'alarme des ressortissants et étudiants africains qui, fuyant la guerre en Ukraine, se heurtent à des discriminations dans leur exode en quête d'abri. Cette situation est inacceptable.
It will be remiss of me not to express my dismay for the disturbing reports that people of African descent are being singled out to unfair treatment as they join the masses fleeing the Ukrainian territory.
Yeah, they was like, let us free. Let us free. They were saying stuff like, we're students. We're students. You notice how they call themselves black now because why? Why is that? Why are they black? Anyway, so now if you think that Crispus Attucks was of African descent, or if you think the revolutionary people that was melanated was Negroes in the Revolutionary War was from Africa, think damn again, because you see exactly what they do when things start getting a little bit shaky. They're running out. They're not arming up. The Ukraine said that they wanted them to help fight if need be. Nah, they running for the border. They wouldn't have stayed. They wouldn't have stayed in this country and friggin' fought in the war if they had a choice, which they would have had a choice. If you free enough to fight in the war, you can get the hell on some kind of way. But they aren't those kind of people. So you have to understand that that's not you. This is what we do. We do ridiculous coonish stuff. We are just the opposite of running away. We are insanely, ignorantly coonish about trying to do what somebody's gonna like us for, or we think they're gonna respect us, or we trying to shine for somebody who we shouldn't even care about impressing. That's what we do. That's especially what this you know older generation is still about. So this is this brother. What's this brother's name? You have his name? Kerry Buck. Anyway, this brother is in.
His name is Rastus.
Stop it. Is it really? Anyway, this brother has said that he's going to go and fight for Ukraine. Actively, he wants to fight. He's taking himself to Ukraine. He running from Detroit. He leaving his grandbabies, his daughters, his sons, his aunties and them, maybe his mama, his cousins, his boo thing. He leaving everything because he actually worked in Ukraine for like a few years sometime back, and evidently this is his boo thing over there. He's acting like he's some kind of Christian trying to help the Ukraine, but he's really trying to go there for the major hookup. He probably one of them people that want to be like a 90-day fiance thing. He probably want to marry this prostitute, this hooker. He probably wants to marry this hooker, and he's going over there to just to exercise the goods a little bit and see how things work out. But he's making it seem like he is trying to help the Ukraine, which is insane. Who runs to a place? I don't understand. Is China helping the Ukraine? Is London, is Britain helping the Ukraine? Is France running to the Ukraine? Is Italy running to help the Ukraine? Is, I don't know, and Sweden, well, they don't do nothing right. But anyway, whatever. Are any of these other countries running to help the Ukraine? Germany, okay? Or whatever. I don't even understand why this is the coonish behavior that is indicative of why we can't get our stuff together. We can't get our stuff together because of coons like this. You see him? You see how the pandemic didn't kill him? You see? It killed the wrong people. It didn't kill him. These coons needed to go. But the coons seem to be pandemic proof. Okay, for some reason, they don't get the pandemic. They don't get killed by the shot. The coons are still hanging around, spreading around disease, being coonish, doing ignorant things, making us look simple, being poor examples to the young, poor examples for the future, poor examples in the world. He looks ridiculous. His name is Dwayne Johnson. He gives a bad name to the name Johnson. Do John?
Maybe let the players play.
Look at this woman. She's gonna flip that man around. She's gonna crack some ribs. She's gonna, you don't want to mess around with this. And Carrie, what you say about this woman?
Okay, now somebody out there gotta side with me. This looked like a man to me. Take off the wig. Come on. Use your spidey senses. That's a woman, y'all.
I say she's just rough. She got a rough life. She's out there on all these damn social medias, juggling 20 to 50 men at a time, trying to get checks. She's working hard. She's out there damn hustling. She's a thug. I mean, she's living that real thug life. You think we got thug life in the United States? Well, Ukraine, they are thugging it out. And she's a reflective of that Ukrainian lifestyle. She's probably only 21-ish though. She's probably only 21. And she's looking hard. She's living a hard life. And he's like, oh yeah, I got this 21-year-old thing. But she looked like she been rolled rough and put away wet, as the country people say. Y'all know what that means? That's what she is. She's been ridden hard and put away wet. That's what she looks like. Anyway.
So I have a couple of questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
What would the Ukraine army be doing with a 62-year-old man?
Man, he looked like he's a liability. I know he saw like I go to the gym, my pets are looking all fly. He thinks he's, he thinks he's all that. But the reality is they don't want him, his liability, but running around on. First of all, he ain't looked in the mirror good and long enough to see that he's a Negro. Obviously, he does not realize he's a Negro. That they actually do not like those people because look at what they doing to them African folks. They don't care about you. You know how it is when they real redneck, they rather have no help than your help. They rather have no help than your help. So he's confused. He's supposed to be a check. He's supposed to send money and stay his butt in Detroit. That's what she wanted. But then he got the bright idea to talk about, I'll go to Ukraine and fight. And then he got himself caught up talking about that in church. And then they took up, next thing you know, them white folks, you see, they don't play with that. They'll take up a collection real quick and get your butt a plane ticket. He said it. He was in church talking about, I have many friends in Ukraine and I would gladly go over there and fight. Well, brother, we got it for you. He got caught up. He got caught up talking in them white church that he belongs to. And then people took up a collection and they got him all hooked up to go. He didn't have, before he could even get out of church, they had the money. They had already booked a plane. He was already ready to go. Okay, so that's the problem when you deal with white people. See, when you deal with black people, you can talk like that and we'll ignore you. Say he crazy, we'll just come out to church and be like, oh, he's really crazy. What's he talking about? But see, you do that in the white church, they're gonna be like, for real? Oh, you really want to do that? Oh, that's marvelous. Oh, guess what? He used to teach in the Ukraine. He used to work in the Ukraine. He knows people there. Oh my gosh. He should go. He wants to go. We should. Oh my gosh. We need to take up a collection. And they'll do it. And it'll be done. And that's why his coonish butt is heading to the Ukraine right now. That's why his butt is heading there. Because he opened up his mouth around the wrong people, talking about what he wish or what he would do, and his daggone Caucasian friends made it happen. That's the part about having Caucasian friends. Unlike having some of these Negro friends, they will actually make things happen. It's real. I'm not even kidding about that. But anyway, this is a sad testimony. This is why we can't win, because people keep on acting like we want to be coons and we want to be heroes and we want to be all up in somebody's face trying to help somebody when you live in a place that is like a third world country. You just go around a couple of corners from your house and you're going to find people in destitute situations. Why the heck you feel like you need to run away from the burning houses in your hood and go and run into somebody else's burning houses all the way across in some place in Ukraine? I don't get it. But how do you get anything together if that's the way you think? If everything that's yours you don't respect, and everything everybody else does, you want to freaking just worship it. That's a problem.
That's the African American. Oh, one last question I had about this, and I've been having this question ever since I've been seeing this whole thing, go down. Why would Africans go to school in the Ukraine? I'm not feeling that, because what I'm hearing, especially from the Pan-Africans, Africa is like next to heaven. Why would you go get your education to teach you how to build your country in the Ukraine? I'd like somebody to explain that. That's my question.
They're not trying to build their country, you know that. They're just trying to take from every place they go to. They're trying to get an education. They're trying to take people's jobs. They're just trying to get over. They just want to win. Anywhere they go, they come as predators. They come as parasites. They want to win. That's why they were like, F with y'all, F with y'all. That's why them Ukrainians was like, F with y'all. We don't care about getting you out of here. Okay. We know what you're here for. We know what you're about. I mean, it's very obvious that they're predatory. It's very obvious that they're parasitic. They don't care. We got the Kunish brothers over here. Kunish brothers gonna fly all the way from America back to Ukraine to try to help. Them motherfuckers right there sit up there getting all kinds of benefits, getting free dago tuition, getting a free subsidized place, apartment to stay, or a free place to stay. They getting all the benefits they can grab out of that place. I'm sure. I'm sure. And as soon as they're going stuff things heat up, they running on out of there as quick as possible, trying to get over here to America. And y'all will sit up there and welcome these people. Oh, the African, yeah, come on over here. Come to our HBCU. They probably already got daggone room set up for them. And by the way, I don't know if you're aware of this, because I just saw an old report from Howard University. Howard University, they had a whole daggone protest because their dorms were freaking full of daggone mildew, mushrooms, flooding, daggone rodents, all kinds of crap. They couldn't live in the daggone in the dorms. They were sitting in tents outside for days. As much as they play for that daggone university. But I bet you the daggone Howard got some money for them Africans to come over and stay in a nice dorm room. I bet they got that for them. Ugh. What is that? Okay. Yep. So on Clubhouse or whatever, Spaces on Twitter, all these talking apps, what were the foundational Black Americans talking about? Oh, what were they talking about? They were talking about the Black Caucus or the Black whatever. They were talking about how are they going to help the foundation? How are they going to help with reparations? I don't understand how, if you are FBA or free or a slave or ex-slave or ADOS or a descendant of a shackled slave or a chattel slave or whatever the heck you want to call yourself that is inappropriate and not a nation. You know, now they're saying they're calling themselves the FBA tribe. Did you know that? FBA tribe.
See, and you know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of that guy who's going to the Ukraine. I mean, seriously, Negroes do anything not to be themselves.
They are calling themselves the FBA tribe. They're trying to, hitch a little semi ride on being like hinting like they're indigenous, but they don't really want to be indigenous, but they don't want to do any research. They don't want to look at their genealogy, but they still want to hitch their wagons to some indigenous speech, using bows and arrows and stuff and saying FBA, talking about they're going to get reparations. Do they not know that thing has died? First of all, it never took off. It was only a study, supposed study. Since 1989, they wouldn't even study the stuff. They won't even study it. Why? Because they've been hoping that we would die first. First of all, that's part of it. One major part of it was they were supposed to murder us all before that even became an issue. Unfortunately, y'all hard-headed Negroes won't die. So y'all are still around, and they don't know what to do about this because the plan was supposed to work. They had how many different pharmaceutical companies out there pushing boosters and putting things that could spread the disease and giving you flu shots for years so you could be used to taking the flu shots so you would get the disease, and it didn't work. Y'all didn't die. No kind of large numbers. And now can't even use that as a money grab because everybody's sick of the whole COVID and they don't really see the numbers for real in their lives, which they should have thought about that the first year or the first 5 months that it happened. They weren't seeing actual lots of people dropping dead, but they didn't want to really. They just wanted to look at the news and hide inside their apartments or whatever they were doing. I don't know what was going on during that thing, but I was working. But the reality is now everybody is still holding on to reparations. And you see that they have a $1.5 trillion spending bill. Oh, 1.5 trillion, that's it? Trillion. Okay, that's all. And 14 billion for the Ukraine. Oh yeah. You know, Kamala said like the beginning of April, beginning of February, that this is gonna have massive costs. The cost is gonna be unprecedented. I was like, how she know the cost is gonna be unprecedented? Because they knew they're gonna plan to take all this money. This is just a money grab. They are not. There are no. Okay, yeah, it's insulting that they would give $14 billion, or even talk about giving $14 billion to Ukraine. But y'all know they ain't gonna give no $14 billion to Ukraine. They pocketing that money. That money's going right back to the daggone elite. Went to Ukraine, Argentina. Baby, most of the Nazis went to America. And most of the Nazis went to America and formulated our friggin' NASA program. Nazi NASA. Yeah. Nazi NASA. The Nazis are in NASA. Most of those people that formulated the NASA program were Nazis. They didn't have to go. They probably went to Ukraine and other places, but they were right here in our North America running stuff without no shame in the game. They hired them people direct.
And they led programs. They led all these programs.
They led all the NASA programs, all these daggone programs and stuff. Yep, they still are.
So what does that have to do? So when do you think the Negro is going to be in line for his reparations check?
Well, I don't understand how they figure that if, first of all, this is what I want. This is what I want these African Americans to wake up and realize is that, first of all, your leaders aren't leaders. They're a bunch of damn overseers, moving your social political overseers, leading you by the nose, because they ain't going to the UN, they ain't going to the World Court, they ain't filing no daggone lawsuits. They're just getting you drummed up on social media, keeping you distracted from actually going and looking for your inheritance right here in America. They're not giving. They're trying to keep you from thinking about the fact that your land is, you have wealth right here. You have oil wells. You have gold mines. You have coal mines. You have freaking copper mines. You got all kinds of stuff right here. But you're so busy running around thinking about, oh, they're gonna give us a check for show. What's the indicator? Is it this 14 billion? Is that the indicator that you're going to get something? They haven't even passed anti-lynching.
You can't run away from yourself, and that seems to be what's going on. Everybody's just running away and trying to be something else. And like she said, this is yours. This is the part of the earth that created you. So when they talk about places on the earth, China, Ukraine, see, in that place where the Ukrainians are, that part of the earth created some people. You can have your own insights on the Ukrainian people. I don't know them.
I don't either.
I don't know who they are.
Oh, you can meet them. They're at the border. They just let some families through the border, the Mexican border. Yeah, the one that they was having on, the Mexican border where they was detaining folks, and then they turned around and gave those people checks. Yeah, that one. That's where they're walking through right now. You know, nobody's in the way. They got pictures of them walking through all nice and easy. They probably got some kind of nice, bus for them waiting, or some nice, limousine or something with beverages and snacks and jackets. I'm not, I know it sounds funny, but
No,
they do that. They did that with the Mexicans. They had bags. They had brand new, store bags with jackets and snacks and gift cards and stuff for the Mexicans that came across. So, they got that for the Ukraine, and they stayed in a nice hotel or a nice Airbnb, and they living way better. They sit there thinking about they calling their family saying, "Get your butt over here now."
that's what they saying.
They're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm in Texas and it's great. The food, they gave us barbecue. It's delicious. We're they sitting up in somebody's house just chilling. Got it better than they ever had it. Better than they ever had it."
And you think somebody's gonna give you a check? That's what we're teaching our children now.
That's
I
our
mean,
hope to
check.
get us up and out of our lives and to get us start all our. That's gonna be the jump. See, that's what people are holding on to. That's what these evil friggin' leaders, these evil people that look like you and I are trying to. They're gonna get all, especially the young people, because it stifles you when you keep thinking, but if I could just get behind these reparations, then it's gonna change my life. You wasting your energy. You're doing something that the people you are actually listening to aren't even doing anything to constructively make it happen. What lawsuit have they filed? Besides the one that's dead in the water from '89, which wasn't even a decent, that wasn't even a decent play, because you just gonna study it, baby. It don't take no time to study how they're gonna cut a check. You see how they just cut a check for 14 billion. You see how
Ooh,
they allocated 1.5 trillion like it ain't even a thing.
ooh. And when it comes to you, you just get treated like the hoe that you are. I mean, we got to be honest about it. So we got to stop cuddling up and trying to be cute. This is what's happening. You getting throw fucked by the world, and you rather watch a game. Nigga, are you crazy? Check out what the world does, and we just stand there and throw ourselves at they feet, sacrifice ourselves. That's what that brother did. They like they say, people all first of all Europe does is fight. They're a warlike people, all of them. I'm trying to figure out how they killed Asia off over there, because I'm sure that part is a heavily Asian people. They just don't show us that. Where are those Russians? Who are they? They're the same people. They're warlike people. And we just make complete idiots of ourselves. We're going to fight somebody else, and you won't fight for the brother who the police shot yesterday in your hometown? For real, cuz? That's where we at. And that's what I'm saying. This is what this cat is teaching. This is what's being put out for us to worship, to look at him like he's something. Dude, a 62-year-old man going to fight in anybody's army. If an army let them in, question that army. They don't want no 62-year-old people. They want men who are young, viral, who, if you light a fire under their ass, they'll go get it. You ain't him at 62. That's 18 through 30.
Your knees ain't working the same. Your hips not working the same. I don't care how much his little pecs are looking like they're perky. I don't care what the hell. He's still not the same. He got a little arthritis. He doesn't move the same way. His reflexes are slower. Okay, they're slower. That's just a fact of life. That's just a fact of life. There is no way. They don't, let's just, like I said, first of all, he ain't really fitting to do nothing. He fitting to smash that old nasty looking girl. That's all he's fitting to do. He's going to sit up there, laid up in her apartment till she gets sick of him and wants to throw his butt out. That's about all that's really going to happen. Ain't nobody want to use him. Didn't nobody ask for him to come. He volunteered himself, and he got himself stuck in a corner because he talked too much around the wrong people. You talk too much around them white friends, and they're going to get you on a plane. And that's what happened to him.
That's cold-blooded. And he'll be that way. It ain't no racism around here.
I mean, I don't know if y'all saw the footage. It was a white chaplain or white, that was talking about him going to Ukraine. So he goes to a white church, maybe a Catholic church. I don't know what kind of church it was, but he goes to a little white church, and they probably, them good old people, good old church trying to be a good Christian. And he's sitting there talking about what he wish he could do, and they're like, "Oh, brother, make a wish. We got you, brother. Oh, brother." Make a wish. Oh, we got you on the wish. We got you. Oh no, we're gonna make it happen. That's how he ended up going. And he tried to put on a brave face, and he's not really brave because y'all know he made a comment that said, "I'm not coming back in a coffin with a American or Ukraine flag on it, a blue and white flag or a red, white, and blue flag. I'm gonna be back just fine." So he is scared. He's scared. He talked, he ran his mouth around the wrong folk. Okay? That's what happens when you run your mouth and you say, "Oh, I wish I could. I wish as I could. I would go." And they're like, "What, brother? What, brother? You what say what? Say what? Oh, golly, we've got to do something about it. Gee whiz. Okay, what can we do? Golly. Oh, okay. We're going to take up a collection. By golly, we're going to take up a collection and get you over there, brother. That's what they did.
What you think he's thinking now?
Well, this brother is sweating bullets. He's sweating bullets because, first of all, he probably knows how racist those people can really be. Even though he had his little honey bun and he was doing his thing, he knows how they can be. Right. And he's gonna feel real bad when he's coming off a plane and all them damn Africans trying to get on to a plane. That's gonna be the real deal. And Africans, let me tell you one thing, they won't shut their mouths. So when they see him coming, don't think they're not gonna check him as he's coming the road. What are you doing? What are you doing? Huh? You're going the wrong way. What, you came from where? You coming here? What? They're gonna make him feel like trash when he gets off that plane and walks to Ukraine, and they trying to get the hell out of there. They gonna make him feel like doo-doo. Pure doo-doo. Oh yeah. That they will do. Because they don't hesitate to let you know if they think you're stupid. They have that. That's one thing. They're not afraid to say when they think you're crazy, because they feel like everything they do is very sensible, as far as they always trying to get over, So if you're doing something that's insane, they will definitely let you know that makes no sense. Yeah, they're going to say it. They're going to say it. Yep. He going to know.
So the point of all this, and I'm sure this audience know that, don't do no dumb shit. That's all this story's out there for. It's probably thousands of brothers out there doing that. Because We operate on that frequency.
Well, you know, a lot of brothers are just trying to date internationally anyway because they feel like, you know, I don't know, there's some in some other country they're gonna be less, they gonna be easier, they gonna be less whatever than dealing with a sister. I don't know what they're in their fantasy they think. But what a brother needs to understand is a woman gonna be whatever she you want him you want her to be when
Right.
she's trying to get something out of you.
Right.
Point blank, period. And if you got a woman that's in a third world country or in a situation where she's, you know, thugging out to survive wherever she is, she's gonna do something strange to make a little change. So it don't. She's definitely gonna do some tricks for your ass. So yeah, she'll do some tricks for you, okay. And you know, but that don't mean the trick and treats are gonna keep coming. No, she's gonna do what she has to do to get you, you know. And that's just the way it is. But you guys are like, a lot of these brothers are under all these illusions and stuff that, you know, this is all the best for him. I don't know. I don't care. I figure if you dumb enough to want that, then I donate you to the universe because we don't need you. We need to toss you out.
Right.
You know, we don't need that. You
Right.
know, if you're that stupid, we need to get rid of you anyway. Toss that one. Toss that one out.
Right. You know what I just was thinking about as you were saying that? We should really do a expose on on brothers. Remember Sidney Poitier came out with that movie where he was marrying that white chick? Remember?
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Guess who's coming to dinner?
Hmm.
And you know, get brothers from around that group, that age group, you know, early 70s and stuff. The brothers who married white, what does their family look like now as opposed to where he come from? You know what I'm saying? So if you look at all of Sidney Poitier's grandkids and great grandkids, what do they look like? They don't look like him. They don't look like his mama,
Or like Quincy Jones.
Quincy Jones.
Yep.
Hey, listen, it's thousands, and
Yep.
you'll see what I'm coming from. So those people are removed. They're something. They morphed into something else. You know, they're away from themselves, and you know that's what we're doing. We're running away from the source. You can call yourself what your people call themselves. That's what Lisa. That's the sensible thing to do. We running around calling ourselves ADOS for real, cuz for real.
Adults.
This
FBA, brother.
what the and all it does is just break us down into little, more groups, just chopping us up, and we and
On purpose.
yeah,
And nobody wants to recognize this, you know.
right,
Nobody wants to recognize that all these little factions really being done on purpose. And all these people that are leading them nowhere. What are they doing?
right,
What are they doing? You're collecting money for what? You're doing this for what? What has been done to actually make this do you ever, you're sitting there talking and arguing with each other, and with they're going I don't even know who, white people, I don't know who else they're arguing with, but they argue mostly amongst themselves, and then nothing is gained from that. Nothing is gained from that. But what we need to do is start focusing on the things that we can do. And we were talking the other day. You were asking about, well, what about our, the A drip, the I drip? What about our indigenous rights? It's not. It has not. It is not an actual law. So let's keep that in mind. It's not a law, but politically, it is. A powerful statement. And socially, politically, it's a powerful statement, and it's something that you can organize yourself around and stand on in a political way. It doesn't give you, it's not a law, right? But the laws already exist when you know who you are. The laws are already there to protect you and give you rights that are surpass anyone on this continent, because you predate everything. So, and everyone, you predate everyone. And with that being the case, you have rights that supersede everyone. But it's up to you to actually fight and to organize yourself to actually exercise these things. It gives you the right to self govern. It talks about our right for sovereignty. It talks about our right to um, even rights on a job. It's very, very thorough. It talks about rights and protections on a job, rights to relearn your language, to to enhance and to maintain your culture. It the Declaration of Indigenous Rights of Indigenous Peoples, or the United Rights, the United UN Rights of Indigenous Peoples Declaration is really powerful, right? And I mean, but you have to use it. There are things that can be done, if once people start actually reclaiming their real identities. See, this is how bad it is. Let me tell you how bad it is. My sister gave me a link to the Pamunkey, um, their website, the Pamunkey tribe website, right? Just the other day. And I'm like, what are you, I'm not feeling well. I'm like, what are what are you giving me? She was like, well, look at their special, their special treatment, or their special treatment or something that they have. Well, they made a special mention of some guy named L Big Bay, so or some person, and they said he has in no way associated with the Pamunkey tribe, nor is any of his people. Blah blah blah. This is that, and I'm like, see, that's how bad it's gotten. It's gotten so bad that we got people that's fake organizing themselves as Pamunkey, and then they have all these, and then he had all these websites, Pamunkey.net, Pamunkey this and that. He had all these Pamunkey websites that he had put up for himself, claiming to be Pamunkey. And I'm like, and then and then the El Bay and all this other stuff. I mean, why do we gotta put religion in what we're doing? Why we gotta mix in stuff all the time? Why we gotta always be extra? We got to be a Moor. That's an Indian. And I appreciate this brother I heard the other day who said, he's a Moor, he's been a Moor, and that he said, look, Noble Drew Ali never said that the Moors were from America. I don't know where people are coming from with this. He says, I don't know why people are trying to mix all this stuff in, but people are. They're just trying to like access this and adjunct this and, you know, tack this on and attach themselves to that. And it's like, what are you doing? Just be who you are. Do you understand that in this country, the people that came first were the melanated people of the world? And those melanated Europeans are part of the fabric of this country as well. And a lot of them have a lot of major land grants and things. So you don't have to be an Indian to have land. Though most Indians, you do have land if you actually look. Like even a lot of tribes that are recognized don't even claim the land that they are actually have a right to claim. Because why? Because they're welfare Indians and they're afraid to go against the government because they getting whatever little dumb benefits or recognition. So they don't want to claim what they actually have. Or maybe they just don't know. I don't know. They should know after my lawsuit. They should know now. But if they don't know in Virginia now, I don't know what's wrong with them, but they should know because a lot of different tribes have these patents and these land grants and stuff available. Anyway, organizing yourself as who you really are is what really counts. All this stuff, like if you're really a Pamunkey, they have a whole website. They have a whole outline of how they're going to apply. They got it now. They got it laid out so that if you're actually like a indigenous Pamunkey, like your genealogy is what shows it from the 17 or 1800s. If you can show somebody being a Pamunkey in the 17, 1800s, then that's another way. They charge more for that way, like it's $400 as opposed to if you're on the rolls after the 1900s, it's $100. But they have a charge for their enrollment fee. For their application fee, there is a charge. So years ago, when there was all this fighting about, ooh, what are these Indians are charging for enrollment? They doing all this kind of stuff. Well, the Pamunkeys are charging $100 or $400 for enrollment. So what the fuck? I mean, just this is the thing. We fight about everything. Everything. Why are we fighting about everything when we should be getting ourselves together and doing the right thing? If you're focusing on what is real and your real people and the real Indians that you really can actually claim, you will be all right. You could change the life for you, not just you, but for the future, for your grandchildren, your great great grandchildren. It'll change the whole game for you all forever. But all this hemming and hawing and watching this one and being entertained by this one and that one saying this about that one, and they're talking this one down and running that one down and saying negative things and acting like dirty birds, acting like angry birds, and acting like friggin', crazy aboriginals. All this stuff that's going on has got to stop. It makes no sense. It's getting us nowhere. We have actual things that we should be doing and we can do. And if we get to the point where people actually start doing this thing, where they're actually repatriating their people or joining tribes or whatever, the way you're going to be able to move when you join the Pamunkeys ain't going to be the same way you're going to be able to move when you repatriate. Understand that. Your greatest ability to self-govern yourself is going to repatriate your people. That's just the facts. You join the Pamunkeys or join the, Chippahominies or whatever with, the other tribe, the Nottaways, that's going to be a different route. It's not going to give you the same kind of flexibility that you will have if you organize yourselves and repatriate your people. But it still may give you something because the Pamunkeys are opening up a casino very soon. They're gonna start building on it, I think, this year. So they're going to have benefits, and that's why they probably have all their ducks in a row as far as how their enrollment is, because they want to, they don't want to block people from enrolling, but then again, they don't want to encourage it either. So I guess that's why they got the more expensive price for y'all indigenous folk, $400 for you. So yeah, but I mean, we need to be doing there's constructive things we can be doing. Genealogies, and now even on Ancestry, now they even have land grants right there. They have land information on Ancestry for whatever doggone reason. They got it on Ancestry. Well, they'll tell you the book and the page where you can find the deed. It's not gonna have everybody's information on there, but damn, I didn't have that for my stuff. This is new information. So, getting your genealogy, organizing your people as the people who you are, and then maybe if you're European, you won't have a tribe to organize. So it's a whole different thing for you. You're not gonna have the ability to self-govern in a way and do whatever as a repatriated people, but doggone, it's gonna be life-changing to be able to get hundreds of acres of land back, or more than 100 acres, maybe thousands. You don't know. Maybe oil wells, where maybe mines. You don't know what you really have, what your inheritance is, unless you start to work on it. But like I said, right now on Ancestry, they have that land information on Ancestry.
So you see the confusion we cause to ourselves when we call ourselves Hebrew Israelites, when we call ourselves Greeks, when we call ourselves Christians, when we call ourselves Muslim, think of the energy that we give all of those ideologies. I mean, you can look at it as financial, yeah, spiritual, yeah, your hopes and wishes and all your faith is going into that when it can be going right here to yourself. Could you imagine with just a little imagination? Just a little. Can you imagine? This is what I'm saying, cuz this ain't no joke. I mean, you may be here for that. I'm not. You have everybody in the world running and want to squat on top of you. And you look just like those Africans in the picture. You running away. You can call yourself whatever. You can look at you and tell. Now, these people have been infiltrating for a long time. The African women sound more like my mama than they mama. So people trying to get over here and get in on you. You can try to pretend like it's not happening. It is. I just suggest we look at things in a different way, something that's beneficial to us. And that's being connected with your family, to your family. Who are you? Where are you from? What kind of work did your people do? What did your mothers do? When I say mothers, they're all the same, but you just go back a few generations, 3, 4, 5, 6. What did they do? What was their economies? How did they live? How did they protect themselves from hurricanes and floods and stuff like that? How did they look after each other? What system did they have set up? You did that. And we so torn apart from now, we don't even know. We'll call I, I got $5. How much you want to bet somebody gonna come up with the black Ukrainians? This is what we do, y'all. Your home is right here. How dare you walk away from what your great grandmom and great granddaddy left you for some shit that don't even make sense? None of it. But okay, you can run from yourself. Bye. Have a nice trip. You know you ain't gonna make it far. You done sold out. They smell it on you. The way they talk to you. They know, dude, you ain't them. Be yourself. Use all the wonderful gifts and talents that you have and make this shit pop. That's all it is. And those of you who can hear my voice know what I'm saying. Stop copying off everybody. Do you. They do them. They do themselves. Do you. And watch what happens. So here's an example. Here's a perfect example. So these pro sports. It's a joke. So you got the NFL and you got 2 football leagues starting this spring. One is co-owned. Now, these are just the stories that are coming out. I'm not saying that any of this is true because I really don't know. But it says The Rock and 2 other business partners are opening up a football league, a spring football league. XFL or USFL, one or the other, but I know he's in on it. Plus, another football league is opening this spring. And I asked myself, And listen, I got cussed out. I'm like, so you mean after all this time, Negroes haven't came up with an idea since everybody wants to see them play? You mean Negroes haven't got the second largest cities, the cities that ain't got no team and start their own league? This is how disjointed, this is how discombobulated we are, trying to run away from who we are. Or why don't you do some sports that you were good at? Get some of the sports that some of the indigenous brothers was playing. We don't even think of that. You just want to watch what makes massive money. Isn't that the Negro today? Seriously. Really? We let these people degrade us on TV. We're supposed to be the first man that came on the planet. We melanated and blah, 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 blah. Really? Seriously? See, this is why we look stupid. You don't have control of your own land. Stop confusing the people. That's my only thing. Because these kids, they deserve way better. They deserve the truth. You can't be bullshitting them. You got to give it to them all the time because they're at a deficit as it is. They're fighting uphill. The world is on their doorsteps. What ammunition are we giving them? I didn't hear you. What'd you say? We have fought in all these wars. And anybody knows, especially if you have somebody in your family who's been in the military, ask them how these white boys are when they're in wartime against other nations and Negroes are there as the auxiliary. Which means they're, in the kitchen cooking, taking out the trash, mopping the floors, shit like that. But they're in a wartime situation. Ask those brothers how those white boys are to those Filipinos or Cubans or whatever wars your family was in. Ask the brothers how them white boys are to those people in Iran and Iraq and at Abu Ghraib. Yeah, I remember that. They got the Israeli men tied up together, naked, sicking dogs on them. That's who they are. That's who you love. That's who you want to be like. That's who you follow business practices from. Everything he comes out with, you with it. You use your own mind. Create out of thin air. You have all the material resources you need right at your fingertips, but you don't want them because you a Hebrew Israelite. You in the tribe of Yahweh. You in all this bullshit that's outside of America. Notice, all of them are outside of America. That's how they snatched your ass away from it. Yet you talk like that's not what you're trying to do. And it's exactly what you're trying to do. And all you're doing is creating confusion. You're just confusing.
The
Now,
best thing that we could do is to teach our kids and our grandkids starting now that all that stuff is bullshit. We should let the babies know that these fraternities, these sororities, these, Masons, they're Golden Stars, they're the Hebrew Israelites, the freaking Moorish temple, because it's a religion too. It's a temple now. Don't get it twisted. They're fanatical for a reason. It's a religion, it's a temple. That this is all to just confuse and to divide us as a people. And if we could just get intercept these people that are looking for answers, and from getting involved with these things that are just going to twist them around and turn them around and distract them from what we should be doing, because what is really important is that we start believing in ourselves and believing in each other. You know that book, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich? I don't know if he was a Negro. He's supposed to be a white man, but they lie about everything, so I don't believe much of anything. But I can tell you one thing: if he wasn't a Negro, he stole that stuff from a Negro. That's for sure, because just the timing of when it was written in the late 1800s tells me he stole it from us, because we were winning, and that Civil War was the war in which the United States was formed. That was everything. Okay. Before that, this country was ours. We didn't lose this country until 1865. They say we were freed. No, we weren't freed. That's when we lost our shit. That's when we lost everything. When that law when the we were the Confederates. When we lost that damn war, when that war was lost, we lost everything. That was our downfall. They want us to think we were enslaved and our lives were hell, and they saved the day. And then everything got better when Lincoln freed the slaves. Nah, boo. That's when everything started to go to tumbling down, man. We lost things quickly. 50 years, like 50 years, no more than 60 years after 60 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, our lives was pure hell. How the heck does it happen in 60 years? That's crazy. But that's what happened. So, but what we need to understand is that our music was changed, unity was changed, our teachers were changed, right? Our schools were changed. Everything was infiltrated to manipulate us and to oppress us and to keep us from our natural vibrations. And we need to understand that we can do anything, and we need to stop being so afraid. We're so afraid of everything. Every time they tell us something's going to happen, we believe it. Every time they tell us something is hard, we think it's going to be hard. Every time we think we're scared. We think something's going to be too much work, so we don't do it. We stop dreaming. And when your kids don't see you dreaming, and they don't see you, and they see you having fear, that's what they inherit from you. We can do anything we want. We are not oppressed. We have never been oppressed. We are winners. And we can manifest anything we want every day. And that's what we need to be focusing on. We need to be focusing on manifesting abundance, manifesting our success and our sovereignty, manifesting a world that is of our own design, in which our people are controlling our own destinies and winning. Because we've had that many times over. We just don't know about it. Amani Bay has a channel, and he just did a video yesterday, which is amazing, in which he talks about, he has this footage from the 1920s of Oklahoma, 4 to 7 years post Tulsa, where they are winning. Where even Tulsa is playing in a football game against this other town in Oklahoma, and they are rich as hell. They got all kinds of cars, oil wells, cattle, huge farms. Yeah, we've been lied to. We still don't know all the truth. So no, I want you all to realize how fantastic we are and how vibrant and how resilient we are. And we don't know the half. Just like right now, we don't know half the Negroes that are doing fantastic now, who aren't stars and who aren't anything, that, outlandish, but are doing amazing things that we're just not aware of. Why? Because we don't know. It's not within the media. We're not sharing it through even our and our networks don't even share that stuff because they're not for us either. These people that they put out front are not for us. They don't really want us to know how great we are, or else we would know about all the greatness that we are at this time. We would now just be figuring things out. All these leaders they put before us are blockades. They're all overseers. But I want you to focus on the fact that we are amazing. And I want you to wake up and think about how all the fantastic things you can do and should do, not shoulda, coulda do. It's never too late. Time to make our dreams come true is now.
Right now. This is what I'm saying. Plug back into your ancestral homeland. That's what's missing. We walked away from the land. We rather walk on concrete. We rather go up and down in elevators. Don't act like you. That's one of the reasons we're not connected to the earth no more. If it gets a little warm, we want to run for air conditioner. We're not connected. A lot of trees have been cut down here in the South. A lot of trees. See, when you look at that Amazon forest, the Amazon forest didn't stop there. It came on up. Oklahoma, Kansas, all that used to didn't be all flat land. That used to describe that as a jungle. This is what I'm saying. We running away from all this history. It's running away from it. Read old newspaper articles. New York Times. A lot of these smaller cities in the Midwest on back to the East Coast. Read some of the articles in the newspapers and see if they don't make more sense. Do they make sense today to you? If you're smart enough to start doing some research and going back, looking at old papers of what people wrote and what people thought about back 100, 200 years ago, you'll start to figure out what's going on. I would implore that everybody do that. Doesn't take a lot of time. Follow your folks. Who are your people? Where are they from? See, we done got to the point where people ask where we from. We don't even tell them. We'll tell them I'm Los Angeles. We won't say where we from. We ashamed of it for whatever reason. So this is what the African American has been grafted into. You want to believe it or not? That's one of the tenets of being an African American. You must be unplugged from your natural homeland. You don't eat from the trees no more. Somebody gives you what they want you to eat, and you've accepted that lifestyle, and you would kill to keep it. That's what the African American does. Right? Right? So, our purpose, or my purpose, because I can't speak for everybody, you gotta feel what's going on in the world today. You can smell it. What is going to be your response? Not nobody else. You don't know what nobody else can do. But your imagination could change a lot of things. You just have to look at it from your point of view and nobody else's. So is that it, Lisa?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's about it. We just like, it's just like, just understand who we're dealing with. But I think it's really important that we do a service to the youth and start having conversations with them so that this whole crazy hamster wheel we on, so we can get off this hamster wheel. We cannot keep allowing these people out here to repeat the same game on us and have our daggone, our descendants fall for it. We have to pass on this information. See, we came from a generation that was a silent generation. They didn't talk about stuff. All right. Then we got another generation and they talk about stuff, but they're all confused. All that they know is what Master told them. They went to the good universities and the good schools and got the good jobs, and they just do what the boss man says. Yeah, Frida, you can ask a question. You got a question?
Frida, I'm gonna put the chat, how you can get on live so we can hear your lovely voice and you can join us in the conversation. Is that okay? Will that work? I think the audience will like that.
Yep, that'll be cool.
There it is. Hit the chat, come on in, and you can ask your question.
There you go.
So yeah, the imagination, as we're waiting for Frida to come on, the imagination, there's Frida right there.
Oh, she's here already? Oh, there she is. Here. Okay, I see now.
Frida, if you unmute your mic, you're on.
How you doing, Carrie? I haven't talked to you in a minute. How you doing?
I'm doing fine.
That's good. How you doing, Lisa? I never talked to you before. How you doing? I'm Frida.
Hey, Frida.
How you doing? I just want to come on just for 1 minute. I just want to since I know most of the people that listen to you are in your group, and I wanted to just ask people to just post on Facebook or whatever, just to have it go across social media, because it was something that came in my brain. Have everybody ever noticed that every time they have a war with a particular country, that particular country always flood our land, those particular people? Every time. So when they had the war with the Vietnamese, all of a sudden you see a lot of Vietnamese over here, little by little. They had the war with Afghanistan. You see a whole bunch of them frying chicken in our neighborhood gas station, Dunkin' Donuts, and everything. They have Rwanda. All of a sudden you see a lot of Nigerians. You have like the Cubans. They're going through so much. Every time they saying somebody going through so much and they need our help, yeah, we're the ones that's called refugees on our land, but they need help and they're in dire need. They're flooding our land. Then you get, and it's nothing against our brothers and sisters in Cuba, but I'm talking about the Spaniards. And then when you see what's another country? Just name the countries. Every time there's a particular country of people that they're so-called at war with, you ever notice, even right now, they shipping those people off to Poland, and everybody know once you're in Europe, that's easy access to the United States. It's like
oh, they already coming through Mexico.
Oh, they've been here.
Yeah, they already coming through Mexico.
They fly them over here. I'm in a neighborhood where I'm at in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. It's so many of them over here. That's new. That's literally got this language. You know what I mean? Barely can. You know what I mean? Speak a full sentence of English. I'm telling you.
But this is an immigrant.
It's crazy. I'm talking about the Russians.
This is an immigrant country. This is an immigrant takeover. It's not even,
Mhm.
people, they lie. They lie about Britain. Britain really don't have nothing to do with this country. This is not a British settlement. This was a settlement of immigrant vagabonds. That's what it was. A bunch of rough heads, a
Mhm.
roughnecks, sea urchin, freaking pirates that took. That's who settled this country. It had nothing to do with Britain. That's a lie that they told, because if you think about it, the British crown never even showed up on these shores. They didn't show up. Actually, if you really look it up, the British crown never showed up here until 1930 something. They showed up in like Canada, and they kind of dipped in the United States. So Britain was never a this was never a British colony. It was never that. That John Smith and all those people, they were a bunch of just vagabonds. They were Swedish, they were Dutch, they were a bunch of different people that was just trying to get over. They were just merchants. They were corporate, they were just trying to, they were just trying to make a dime. They were trying to make money. And that's what we have here. So that's why they encourage it, because that's what they are. All these people that comprise what they call the United States are a bunch of daggone profiteers.
Mhm.
And one of the
Mm,
main
yeah.
people they profiteer off of, and this is what I'm saying about us, we keep
Mhm.
this shit going. Really,
Mhm.
they don't support you, but you support them all the time with your chest stuck out. Really, dude?
Absolutely, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you can't possibly think of it, but just imagine the transfer of wealth from us to everybody else on a daily basis.
It's a lot.
No, it's a lot.
We the we the we are the we are the salt of this land. Like, man, we the ones that if what would they do without us? They whole thing would be bland without us. Like
So,
like you can eat a bag of rice and beans, but what would you do without the salt? The salt is what make it taste good. Would they get they get all everything from here, so it is what it is. But
well, cool.
yeah, but people need to start questioning. I just want to say that I ain't want to stay on too long. I just want everybody just I don't know make because I'm not on social media but YouTube, and I was
Uh-huh.
just like, man, people need to start asking those questions on Facebook since it's a lot of people over there and Instagram. Just say, if y'all notice, like, dang, every time they have a fake war with a particular group of people or a country, you see those same people over here. Oh, when the Ethiopians were starving to death and all this other stuff. Oh, we are the world. All of a sudden, you see Ethiopians in North Chicago, like in north part of Chicago, on the north side of Chicago at least. I'm just like, what the fuck? Excuse my language. Like, it's always when we got to be crying and oh, these people are going through so much. All of a sudden, you see an influx of these people on our land,
It's
and they
definitely
living it up.
it's definitely not because they care. It's because they work out these deals with these countries.
Hmm.
Like they be like, look, just like with COVID or whatever. Maybe I shouldn't say COVID, but anyway, just like with that, they negotiated with the Asians that they were going to
Oh
already,
yeah.
pay them, because they
Hmm.
figured there might be some people that might be angry that it was a Chinese disease. So they had already worked out that payment before they even unleashed the daggone disease. They work out these things in advance. So that's why you see an influx of people, because they're like, look, we're going to tear up Vietnam. But then, like, once we finish tearing up, because it's a benefit.
Right.
They get rid of their poor people. We get rid of our poor people. We send our boys
Hmm.
out there to die. They send their boys out there to die. They're like, look, we thinning our population, and then they get to allocate a whole bunch of money to the war, which they're not spending on the war, and they just get to
Right.
put in their pockets. Then they negotiate. Okay, we're gonna give you money to help build back what we bombed up, and because we got to,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's all a big game. But people believe these wars are really actual wars, and they believe
They're
the
not.
things that are done are actually not, because they don't want to think that people could be so evil, but they are.
They are. They so wicked, and they don't care about evil because evil just the opposite of. We living in where you say the laws of reversal, the inverted type of stuff. So they don't care about that. It's like you're just living in backwards, evil, you know. But when you call them wicked, it gets under their skin. I'm just saying this from just typing stuff on just on YouTube. They'll delete that in a heartbeat. So yeah, I don't. I was just. I'm tired of this shit, but at the same time, I laughed at it at the end because at the end, everything is about history, right? And everything goes in reverse. The way I look at it, I'm like everything is gonna end up repeating itself. It's repeating itself, and eventually we're gonna get our stuff back. It's just a matter of when, you know. And we're gonna tax them out like how they taxed us out, and they're gonna run away from here. It's gonna be a fight though, but the majority are gonna run because they like, damn, you know, I'm just gonna go back to my land because shit, I can't prosper here. Like the reason why they're here is so they can prosper, and since you can't prosper here, you're like, well, I gotta get the fuck up
And
out of here.
and how are they prospering? Sell you whatever they come up with.
Hmm.
Sell you whatever they come up with, and we buy whatever they come up with. That's how they stand. They don't and they don't buy nothing from you.
Absolutely no. Oh God, no.
So you
Oh.
know that right there, that balance of power is tipped heavily to their favor. And we have the attitude like I can do what I want to do. It's my money. It's an arrogance that go along with it that makes you not even want to even be even talking to those people because it's that bad. You looking at all these cities and they're being decimated wherever you're concerned. And these immigrants are coming in and we're trying not to say nothing, acting like we don't see it. And it's right in your face.
And it's heartbreaking.
It's heartbreaking. So, listen, you got land all over this planet, all over this country.
Hmm.
I would suggest and abandon the cities because you can look at them and see that they're not going to last.
Oh, they want us out the city so they can take over the city. That's what's going on in Chicago right now. The whole point of even with New York, you could see that as being a prime example. A lot of our people are leaving. Like you see a lot of people. I'm on YouTube a lot. I see a lot of these people saying, "I'm moving to Texas. I'm getting away from here. I'm moving to this state." Like I got my cousin. She a pharmacist. She moving to Georgia. It's close to South Carolina. I don't blame her. You know, me personally, I'm ready to move. You know.
Right.
And it's because I honestly don't want to be around all these people that's not us. You know,
Right.
that's number one. It doesn't feel right. The energy is not right, you know. And then I don't even want to be around our people because this is me personally. I go around, I don't, you know how I am. I go around, I talk to people just to tell them who we are and stuff. And you know, our people in Chicago, they've been beat down, you know. And when you tell them who they are and you explain it to them in the simplest terms, like how you taught me, right? I'm gonna give it to you, Carrie. You the one who made me think about a lot of stuff that a lot of y'all made me think like just simple, just the simplest shit. It's always the simplest things, right? Have you ever thought like, damn, why are all these people constantly putting you down? Why is it that you know what I mean? Just the little stuff that you be saying. Just think about those little things and it makes perfect sense. It'd be like, damn, what the hell is he talking about at first? Like, right? But I'm not the person who questioned the person. I just said not think, right? But most people be like, what the hell is he talking about? You know, I done seen everybody jump on you. They still jumping on you, right?
Mhm.
But it's the simplest things. You know what I mean? It really is the simplest things. It's like when I see people and I tell them stuff, do you know, literally, I see people, we are dead in the eyes. Like, literally, if you go in Chicago, like, our people are dead in the eye. Our eyes are like, there's no light. There's no light in our face. And it's because we getting sprayed. They're getting sprayed because I'm in the northwest suburbs and I can see where I'm at up in the hill, up higher. I can look over because of the open land. I can look over and see the smog across the whole city over there. And I can see where the weather machine is sending the daggone clouds and shit from over here. And then I literally can see them spraying with the damn drones over the head in Chicago. They're wicked. But when I tell our people who we are, do you know it's like that little electric when you put two wires together and a spark happens, you can see the spark happening and like sparking the flash of light beaming back into our people's face. Because our people don't know who they are. It really does something to them. And they know when the fact that we don't know who we are, it really does mess us with our psyche. It really makes you feel it makes you feel insecure. You have no place in the world. You feel abandoned, even though you're not abandoned. It's that abandonment feeling. Everybody else can say who they are, where they come from. And our people, they don't give a fuck. Like they really don't give a fuck about this shit.
Right.
And they're poison. Our people are poisoned left and right. We're being poisoned through angles motherfuckers can't even imagine. You know what I mean? It's unbelievable how we're poisoned. But you can't. And I sit and tell even a friend this, and they would think I'm crazy for saying that. I don't get down on my people. I really don't. I don't like belittling our people to the point where I'm knocking them down, knocking them down, knocking them down. That shit is like you become them. You just have to teach them. If you teaching them instead of like belittling them, like and laughing at it, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess I see that so much on social media, and it should be bothering me because you're doing it in front of strangers. I ain't talking about y'all. I'm talking about people I follow and shit. I have, I got to stop following. I ain't talking about anybody in this community, period. Talking about like those who are all about money. Our people who are about money and they'll leave their own people behind. I have a lot of family like that. I don't give a fuck. I don't
Yeah.
give a fuck about you. Excuse my language. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
But
cursing.
the whole thing about that, and why we're caught up on money is because you ever wonder what would happen if Negroes created their own dollar, their own money?
This whole system will crash.
Oh, see, isn't that what you isn't that what you want to happen?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. This because everybody will want it, because everybody wants you. Everybody wants to be you.
That is so true.
Everybody. They said, they just built where they held the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. The SoFi Center is like a multi-billion-dollar football stadium. They said they had LA is big Korean now. It's been for a long time. They
Wow.
had a concert there, that K-pop. I mean, it's whack to us. All it is old hip hop, but they got a Korean face. They dress like you, but they have a whole bunch of Koreans on the stage, and they're just
Wow.
copying you,
Really?
and they're just copying you. Man, he said the place was sold out. He said, "Do you know it was Negroes out there too?" See, this is what we do. It's like Lisa was saying earlier. We just give our stuff away.
Mm-hmm.
Our culture, we don't think nothing of it because we trying to get something somebody else got. And that's all what the money is doing. That's all we get with the money. All you can buy is what somebody else has. I haven't found nobody who can debunk that yet. But if you create your own currency, your own money, your own financial system, your own way of doing commerce, I think it would be something to be seen. So
Yeah.
Frida, let me
I'm gonna.
I got
Oh my
one
God.
more question. I got a question for you.
Mhm.
Uh the chat link is in the chat. So anybody want to come on? Frida,
Yes, sir.
what's up with y'all mayor?
Oh, that man. Oh, that's another thing. I don't. That's not my mayor. I'm not even in Cook County. I'm in Kane County. So we don't go through all over here. All that stuff that's going on in Chicago don't even apply over here because it's more
What
foreign. Mm-hmm.
what
It's
is that?
weird.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
listen, we have another guest joining us. This is Chief Spirit. What's going on?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
I think they probably,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're a mute. Yeah.
But anyway, Frida, so what's going on up there in the Windy City, because I'm down here in the South, and I like to get a pulse, for where everybody's from, if they're in Buffalo or Ohio or Iowa. I just want to hear what people got to say from these different places. Oh
Well,
no, we got Win Walker. You gotta connect your devices, man. You gotta connect your devices, homie. So, So what's going on up there in Chicago now? Is it snowing?
It was snowing 2 days ago. It was pretty outside, and all of a sudden, they throwing. You know how they do. Because like I said, I'm like literally probably 50 miles away from the daggone machines that they have. Them big warehouses that they have. If you ever travel, especially if you go into like the really rural areas way outside the city, probably I'm gonna say about 100 miles outside the city, they have these big um on these empty lands or whatever. They're not even farmlands. It's just where they have those weather machines. The CERN machines is what they really are. But yeah, they have those smoke machines that blow the clouds and shit. And yeah, I see that stuff. I mean, I'm over here like literally where I'm at, right? At a CVS that's like in the open area. And I'm like, damn, how is it all this clouds just coming out of nowhere? And it's like coming from a distance, right? Where I can see exactly where it's coming from. And it starts, like you can see where it starts. And I was just like, wow, what I know, and then it's always aimed towards Chicago. And once it reaches Chicago, it goes straight through Michigan, Lake Michigan, to hit Detroit, and it's just like a straight pattern. Boy, when I say they some wicked ass
So
motherfuckers.
that's why it's cool for us that live in different places to speak with other people in other places, so we can have our hands on the pulse of what's going on there. Though we may not be there, we can have somebody in another place to talk to that can give us something other than what the TV is giving us, because the
Right.
TV is going to put his own spin on it, you know?
hmm
So, yeah,
But I'm gonna say one thing though, as programmed as our people are, they'll argue up and down about this stuff. But you get from what I'm learning, these people are no damn different. And I'm surrounded by a lot of foreigners,
yeah,
who I met. They're no different.
right.
They
Yeah,
just as ignorant, and they, you know what I mean. But they were one thing I could say. One thing I could say for sure is that our people get down on our people way worse into like face to face than the foreigners do. Like, as far as like I don't like to really go all into this stuff that's going on. I don't want to say it on your channel, but what like the mask thing, right? Over here, you don't even gotta wear the shit, right? They're aware, they'll believe in the stuff. I got my vaccines, I got my booster. And they say the same thing that our people do. But when it's certain things they know, you know what I mean? It's like they know these rules and regulations and stuff. They won't enforce it like how our people do. Like even where I'm at right now, they got a brother at the Walmart down the street from me, right? And they made him the health inspector. Is like telling people to put on a mask when they come in the store. And I'm around a bunch of damn jalapenos, bunch of little fake, Mexicans, which really ain't nothing but a bunch of South Africans, if anybody ever knew or whatever. But yeah, and he tell people to put on their mask. Why are they using our people to push every fucking thing over? You know what I mean? On people. And then when you go in our neighborhoods, like where the influx of us is at, it's our people were so aggressive with it. Well, you gotta wear your mask. If you know what I mean. It's just the craziest shit ever. Our people get down on each other far further,
right,
like interactingly. You know what I mean? Interact when it comes to interacting with each other than it is with these damn foreigners. Now you may have every now and then with these damn people. They be like, "Can you pull up your mask? Can you put on a mask? Here's
right,
a mask." But then you walk past their ass, and you know what I mean. They don't say shit to you. But
right.
don't let that be our people. Oh, they about to beat you down. Our people are so mentally, I don't know, we're sick in the head, and I'm not even excluding myself because I think everybody have mental issues from this, from the poison, from the water, the food, every fucking thing. We are mentally ill as a people, and as soon as we understand this shit and we know who we are and we know where it's coming from, I think it will make a big difference because
Yeah.
we can't think straight.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
that's why we
Yeah.
both we all need to start heading back to our homelands, to where our people came from, to our little towns and in the country, and start reclaiming our land, because the water's polluted. You can't dig a well, you can't have fresh, spring water. You got to buy water in these plastic bottles that are also contaminated. You got daggone the 5G daggone vibrating through your neighborhoods, giving you headaches and making you, giving you anxiety, and making you ill. You got bad daggone. All the food is jacked up and full of all kinds. It's all not even real food. It's not even real
It's
food.
not.
It's not even real. And you know, it's just terrible. And it's really nothing for you to grow something or to or to, you know, keep a few chickens, you know. It really doesn't take a lot, you know. Um I have two hens and a rooster, and I live in a subdivision. And those hens put out like at least like 9 eggs a week at least. And I mean, it's and they're very neat, and they're really not a lot of maintenance. They really aren't. So I mean, there's a lot of ways we could be self-sustaining, and we are so dependent on everything, and they've got us it turned into zombies. They've turned us into zombies. They've filled us with all these chemicals, all these vaccinations, and all this bad water and bad food and bad air, and you know, all these radioactive waves. And you know, we just need to get where we can have our minds clean and our bodies clean, and know what our chickens are eating, not these things that we don't even know if it's chicken, you know. We don't know what's in the egg. We don't know what they're feeding those. We don't know if they're eggs, because they can actually make an egg. They can print an egg. You know what I mean? They can manufacture a whole egg. That's been shown. So we don't even know if it's eggs that we're eating, and it's totally different when you actually know what the birds are eating, and you know, and those eggs are just, they taste so different, and the energy they give you is different. You know, so
Can I ask you a question? So are the eggs that your chickens hatch, are they white?
I have brown eggs. I have brown hens that have brown eggs.
So how do eggs get white?
No, certain hens will make. I have I have you know, brown hens that make brown eggs, but certain hens will make white eggs. Mine just don't, because they're brown laying eggs, brown egg layers, and they're brown chickens.
Okay, well, listen, Chief Spirit is back on. We're gonna add him to the stream. Welcome.
Hello. Uh-oh. Hello. Are you muted?
He's not muted.
He's not. Well, anyway, yeah, the whole idea that you had, that you was talking about going back, you know, going south or going whatever. I think that's a good idea, and a lot of people are doing it. But I think a lot of people should kind of look towards their home also, like focus on your genealogy, try to find where your people came from, and try to go there. It's a whole different thing when you kind of connect to where your home is. It's like
Right.
it does something to you. The rest that you get is different. The sense of peace is just different. It's just hard to explain, but you know, it's like, and your ancestors are there, so it's like, you know, there's a energy that's different, because they are there welcoming you back, really. And that's major. So I just I would definitely encourage people to do that, and you know, start doing things. I was looking at a video, and you know, you can get yourself a little trailer, get yourself a little, you know, tiny home, or crate, or you know, one of those container houses. They have I just saw a video today where the 3D printed houses are being done in Texas. They're offering some smaller versions of those for like $4,000 in Texas. So some company called something to Texas Tabasco or something Tabasco. Um anyway, but they are, you know, they do the 3D printing in Texas. So I mean, just looking at different options, you know. Earth homes, earth bag homes, where you actually just fill these bags with you know, with you know, dirt, and
Fan.
yeah, it's like a sandbag, and you just, you know, you use it as a brick. You use them as like giant logs, or you know, you stack them up, and then you know, you use like a clay solution, a clay cement sand mix, to do like a stucco inner and outer shell over the bags. And you know, it's very durable, and it's very good as far as, you know, heat and coolness, and you know. There's lots of different options. I mean, I think we need to start using our creativeness. We're such a creative people. We're so artistic and creative. There's nothing we can't figure out. I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where a car is having problems or something, where you got to get together, you with a bunch of family or a bunch of friends, and you try to figure it out. We are very inventive and creative. We can figure out anything once we're together. And I think
Hmm.
that once we start being more reliant on each other like we used to be, and understand how we used to trust each other and we used to respect
Right,
one another,
right, right.
we lost
That's
that, man. But
that's
it wasn't
why.
that long ago.
Right. That's why I keep telling people like I'll watch channels and like, I'm gonna just give an example. Like, I sit and watch channels of people who will talk about how, you need to get cash flow and stuff, and they're just, oh, these people are coming over here and they're gonna be buying up the cities and they're gonna be doing this, buying up everything in the cities, and all you niggas are gonna be left out. And they think it's funny. It's your own people who look like me, brown skin, pretty, you know what I mean? These, just crazy shit ever. And I'm just like, all this, they'll speak on how our men are killing our women, and it's just like all this shit is some stuff that comes from the other side of the world. This shit don't come from us. This is new to us. And I was just like, man, stop acting like we're the only ones and then promoting all these different, like, all these agendas on our people. Like, stop doing the crazy shit that's being pushed in the media. Stop pressing that stuff up on us as a people. This is why we're fucked up in the head now. And then and it's like, I don't even understand our people. Stop belittling our people in front of your audience, the other people in your audience that's not us. Because you want to get cash. That shit just, I don't know. That's just some shit that just get under my skin. I don't know. That's
No, I wouldn't
eh,
I wouldn't let it get under your skin. I would just say you might have to come up with you know, okay, so they're doing that. So what do you do?
I just speak the opposite. I'm like, hey,
Right, right,
where
right.
does it come from?
Well,
You
well,
know,
it's every word, every sound, every image, every blink is there to discourage you
right,
because somebody else produced it. What do
right,
you produce? What do you say? You have a say in the matter. You're a living, breathing entity. This is the land that birthed you.
right,
Huh? And you act like you don't have nothing to do with it?
right,
Are you crazy?
right.
And we have an attitude. I mean, when you and that's what I'm saying. When you run into these people, you just give it to them straight, no chaser.
I do.
Because I'm sorry, to playing this dumb shit. That shit's over.
It really is.
It's like, really, dude. And then you teach your kids the same thing, and then cuss them out when they do some dumb shit, but they learn it from you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Really, dude?
Right. Because
Really?
everything happens. Like I tell people, if you having issues with different people, you have to look at the common denominator. The common dominant denominator is always going to be you.
It always,
Always.
always,
Always.
always gonna be you. So,
Hmm.
so we about to get up out of here.
Thank you for letting me on.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for joining me tonight. It's really good to see you.
Nice talking with you.
You too.
How
Thank you.
how's the baby doing?
She's grown now. I ain't gonna say she grown. She's 7. Look, she grew up a lot. Yeah, she's doing good. I'm homeschooling her everything. I had to take her out of that. Cause me personally, and then I hear people like, because the only downfall I hate about what's going on right now is the fact that I can't have my daughter in all these programs and stuff like that because of these little stupid little mask mandates. And
Right.
it's just like, they know, I got her all checked as far as like they know who she is over there. But it's like I was scared to put her in school because I didn't want to have to take. I don't want to say what I would do, but it's just like it's child abuse to me to send your child to school with these masks on, and
That's
then the anxiety that I would have that they would stick my child and I would have to go in there because me, I'm not that person. Like, you're not gonna touch my child. I'm gonna have to do something to you, and I didn't want to end up in jail for life. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't gonna be no we going. They're gonna like let's lock her up for life, and I'm like, no, I got control over my bond. No,
you know,
because she.
that's a code. I mean, because you absolutely right. I mean, and this is what I'm saying. We don't think of having our own way to educate our children. We can't
Right.
come up with a way to do that.
Yeah, that's
Right.
beautiful that you're homeschooling. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yep.
I
And
don't.
the only thing is that you may a lot of people might fall back in, especially if you have like my son, he's almost 20 and my daughter's 7. It's like she doesn't have anybody to really interact with that's her age unless she's around children at the playground. Since they're not outside right now, that's the only thing is that social skills thing. But because of all this stuff that's going on, the programs, they're, oh, you gotta wear the mask. It's almost like you isolate these babies. That's the only thing. That's the one guilt that I have, but I try not to look at it that way because I know like all this stuff is gonna pass because they have to fulfill everything that they did in the early 1900s that they're doing now because they're in the midst of changing over their currency, right? So, what I do, what I don't want people to do is to understand, it's to go in the areas where you're close to the Mississippi. Like this is one thing that I like that's been in my spirit. You know what they did in 1927? They flooded the land. They opened the levees, bombed the levees in Mississippi. Greenville, where I'm from, got it hard and everything. And what my thing is they're gonna do it again. They have to fulfill everything that they done before and do it again. I was having this conversation. I'm sorry for stopping you from getting off, but like I was having this conversation with my father, and he was like, "We're at the peak of this stuff. We're right at the peak of it, and it's about to go in downhill from now." I'm like, "We ain't even at the peak of it yet. Wait till they go through the bank holidays when everybody start losing their 401ks, they pensions. It's gonna and people ain't able to access their money in their bank because these niggas then went on holiday and shit. And then this is why I tell people take money out the bank, break those bills down to the lowest denominators. You don't want nothing but ones, five, tens, and twenties, and you want more of because when they do this shit and you want a lot of silver if you can afford it, you know what I mean? If you can afford it, it's a good bartering item. I'm telling you, it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get bad. It is going to get bad. And it's like
Well, that's
Right,
see.
because it's gonna have
starvation
to, because
is
that's that's
coming.
that's because everything else, the whole pandemic did not succeed. So they're
No,
gonna
that
have to
it
do.
succeeded. It succeeded because they're repeating history. It did what it was supposed to do. What they're headed to right now, because like right now, right? Not trying to cut you off or whatever, but it's because I've known this stuff is gonna happen since the beginning, because it's in the movie Contagion. I keep telling everybody all this stuff is in that movie Contagion. Every bit of it. I knew about the truck stopping and everything. With the protest was gonna happen with the trucks, all this stuff. I said if these people make it to Atlanta or anywhere near Washington, shit is going to start falling apart once the military starts showing their little acting skills rolling down the road. It's gonna the next scene from that, it was a scene with Sanaa Lathan. I think I said this on a couple of people's channels. It was a scene in that movie. Sanaa Lathan, Lawrence Fishburne was the head of the CDC, right? And his girlfriend, Sanaa Lathan, lived in Chicago. He lived in Atlanta. He told her to come to Atlanta immediately. Do not stop. Don't do anything. Just come. She packed up on her way there. She stopped at a store. She got packages. She got packages of water, batteries, and canned goods. Right, crackers. Right. On her way down on a dark highway on the side of the road, you had the truckers sitting there and people standing there protesting, and the military is coming in, well, like passing by. Now the truckers are on the side of the road. The traffic was still going through, but it's like what the fuck is up with the protests in the military, right? So I'm like, okay, she's headed there. Where the hell is she at? She's in the Midwest, right? She's headed to Atlanta. And what pops off next? The next scene was the fucking riot happened in San Francisco, where a riot popped off in a pharmacy. What's going on with San Francisco right now? What's going on? They're doing a little psyops with the fucking but having people telling people that they can steal stuff out the stores and they ain't gonna get arrested. It's gonna get worse than that. It's gonna be a all across the country type of shit that's gonna happen. They want everything to stop. The bus, the trains, the garbage people. They want everything to stop. Everything is going to stop. This is why you need to have cash on hand because they may just close your bank accounts. It's already in the movie where even in the movie cars were sitting on the street, and then more than likely it's because they couldn't afford the gas. They rioted the fucking bank. the grocery stores, people were stealing gas, people were stealing the was robbing the trucks and shit, the delivery trucks. This is all in that movie. If you just paid attention to the details. And they ain't telling you nothing that didn't happen in the 1920s. It's the same thing. And I was talking to my dad and he was saying that the famine is only gonna last for 3 years. I'm like, it may last for 2 years. But either way around, you need to have food in your house. I sit and tell my people this all the fucking time. I have gotten tired of it. I've been telling people since the shit started, get food in the house. Get the basic stuff to make bread, because bread may be $20 or more. It's gonna get expensive if it's in the store. It's mainly gonna it's gonna happen in the major cities like it ain't nothing. People are all this stuff. Like even they didn't convince people to punch holes in people tanks to get gas. That wasn't even something that crossed people's minds until they put it on the news because that's what they want people to do. This shit ain't nothing but a circus act, and people like fall in line like it ain't nothing. It's shit crazy. It's sad. I'm just like, and it's so, and it saddens me, and it worries me at the same time because people will do anything when their children are hungry. It's and then the next scene they showed the military passing out boxes of food to a large line of people in the suburbs of Minnesota, what a middle class was living.
Well, it sure do look like we coming up on that. It sure is looking like that.
It's
But
gonna happen.
yeah,
It's,
I mean, it's happening now. I mean, everybody I talk to always say, "Hey, you seen the stores? The
it's gonna get
shelves,
worse.
yeah, the
What
shelves are there." So yeah,
It's gonna get way worse. I'm
yeah,
sorry
so
for cutting you off.
yeah, so we this has
But
been
don't worry. Just
this
prepare.
this
You
been
got
said.
time.
It's been said for a long time. That this is what's going on, and either
Hmm.
we're prepared for it or not. It's like I say, playtime's over.
Hmm.
This is real. Well, Fried, I want to thank you for joining
Thank you. Yeah.
with us tonight. I really appreciate it. Okay, and don't be no stranger. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay. I
Uh,
just had to come on and say that though, but I didn't mean to stay too long. But all
okay.
right, it was good to meet you, Lisa.
Nice talking to you.
Um, and Carrie, I have to talk to you. I have to continue to talk to you. I was just about to text you if you weren't gonna let me on. I'm like, he gonna let me up here. Your number is still the same, right?
Huh?
Your number is still the same, right?
Yeah, my number's still the same.
Okay, if you still have me locked in, mine's been the same for 20 years. So,
Hey, I done had about 9 phones since the last time I talked to you.
oh, wow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a good night. Have a good night, everybody in chat. Bye
Right.
bye.
So, Lise, any last word you want to leave us with?
No what last words except, I don't think they're that smart. And even though they have done certain things, yes, they did Katrina. Yes, they flooded the Mississippi in the 20s. And I think that the best defense is a good offense, and being knowledgeable and speaking about these things and letting them know that we're wise to the game is the best offense. You know, our ignorance has been our demise. Being informed and being, vocal is going to be the thing that can actually save us. I always feel like we should speak up and speak out. As far as how bad it's going to get, the thing about getting bad is this. Um, the people that are going to the thing they don't estimate when they do this stuff because they're not very smart is that they can't take it. They're used to more creature comforts than we are. And, even if you're rich, when you start shutting down all this stuff, you're going to feel it too. Even if you have a mansion, you got stuff in it, you're not going to be in that mansion all the time. You're not going to want to be in that mansion. You ain't going to want to be around the people that you are supposed to be in relationship with because they got miserable lives, most of these people. So even though it seems like, oh yeah, they'll do blah 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 blah, the people that are going to have the hardest time coping are those people, because actually us, we the indigenous people, we always have our microeconomies, we always got our hookups. And that was the thing that I said the other day, and I'll say it again. We need to form our relationships with our people, that our resources, make sure you know who can do this, who can fix something, who can build something, who can bake something, who can make something. Have your little network of people that you all can be like a little mini, like a tribe of people that can kind of get things hooked up. Might be time to start speaking to a few people you might have not spoken to as much as you have meant to recently, and try to make those connections so you can link up and get and be a resource for one another. That might be helpful, but I really don't believe, like I said, from what they did with this freaking pandemic, I feel like it's an epic fail. They did want to kill the Negro off. They did want to kill off the African American. It didn't work. So, and that was the real goal. I mean, it wasn't like they just wanted to spread, and it was a fail in the early 1900s too, because they wanted to kill us off then. What did they end up doing? They end up killing off their young young Caucasian young people ended up being the biggest victims of that swine flu, that Spanish flu. So, I mean, they failed with that. They failed even worse with this, because they even was spellcasting and telling us, oh, the blacks and African Americans are going to be the ones hit the worst. They're going to die, and they're dying, and it didn't work. So the thing is that we have to be like full of, like, we have to be confident, and we have to be positive and realize they're not more powerful than we are. Anything they do, we can do better. Anything they do, we can counteract it. Anything they do, we can sidestep it. Their tricks don't have to work. Their tricks don't even have to happen, because really we can intimidate them from even trying to do this dumb stuff, because it's stupid, and because it serves no purpose, and because they're weaker than we are, and they're going to get the worst brunt of it than we are, because we are used to doing without, and we are used to rebuilding, and they are not. So that's the thing they're not considering. But I think, like I said, the best defense is a good offense. Talk it out. Let them know this is not working. This whole plan is ridiculous. They ain't not going to win. They don't know what they're doing, and they're going to fail like they fail at all this stuff. And they need to just give it up, because it's their time to go. That's all I got to say.
All right, Lisa. Well, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you next week. To piggyback on what Lisa said, and it's very simple. All you got to do is ask yourself one simple question. What have they done to benefit you? Let that simmerate for a week. Let that simmer in your brain. What have they done where it benefited you? We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week. But seriously, what are the immigrants doing that benefits you? How does it benefit your children? And so these are things we're going to have to think about, because when we think, we just probably think about playing in the football game, playing poker. Seriously, people from across the world are coming over, and these are people that you fought against, a lot of them. Don't feel so good now when they occupying your mama's land, huh? Got to pay attention, y'all. Got to pay attention. This petty stuff that the Negro does is, if you ain't telling these kids the truth, sit down and get out the way. Let other people speak, who's talking some common sense. Please. Can't confuse these kids, man, because you halfway. Man, I read something the other day where we abort half the babies that we produce. Think about that. And let's take this back to 1970. We can't siphon off the life before we have it, y'all. It don't work like that. You will never come up nature itself will see that. You kill off half the heartbeats you produce, and you think you got something coming?
You know, I don't like men talking about abortion, but I can tell you this: we need to take care of the children that are here, and there are a lot of kids that are in the system that need somebody to foster them, to adopt them, and you know, if we can't take care of these babies that are here, who are looking for somebody to raise them, looking for somebody to take them in, then that's a problem. So we can start with that. How about that? Because you know, these people are already thinking, doing, walking, talking, needing, demanding, and lacking. And we need to be able to step in where the families have been not able to step in or aren't there to step in for these babies. So there's a lot of babies out there that don't have parents that are in the system, and they're our children. So let's look at that too.
Could you imagine? Imagine. It's a cool thing you can imagine. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Think about what's going on. Think about the stories that they are telling you. Think about the lies they are telling you. And one more thing about this war. You know, you can go online and you can pull up what's going on in Washington, D.C. Just they got cameras all over the city. You can pull up what's happening in Los Angeles. They'll show you the nightlife, the freeways, you know, just people walking down certain streets and stuff. You can pull up stuff in England, you know, their major attractions. They got cameras. You know it because you probably got cameras where you live. Cameras all over the city. And this is, I mean, I don't see how this is what I mean about, you know, how people think it. If you go pull up the camera to Ukraine, to the capital of Ukraine, it's like every day there's nothing going on. And this is how it is. They can tell you anything, anything, and you'll fall into it. Like I do is pull up the camera to where they're talking about there's a war at, and see that there's no war. And the majority of people don't do that. They don't even think of doing it. It never crosses their mind. And this is what I mean about that low level thinking. Come on, y'all. Really? And they can trick you into anything just because we not looking at it from our point of view. I mean, damn, at least do that. And we don't even look at it from our own point of view. So look at it from your point of view. What would your mother say? What would your father say? What would the people in your family that you love say? There's somebody in your family that you love, cousin, aunt, uncle, somebody. What would they say? Those are the people that you're connected to. Those are the people that you're connected with. So connect with them. We'll see you next week. Peace.